Hey everybody, Bill Vencil here from Chords of Orion. Hey, so I've been working on, I think as many folks know, a new album. And so I've got some ambient guitar tracks that I've recorded and am adding other tracks to with the intent of mixing into final songs. One of the challenges that I have that probably I would guess many other ambient guitar players have is all about stereo imaging. What I mean by that is just the sound of the guitar and related effects as it applies to the stereo image of your recorded tone. And that's across the whole spectrum of left to right, or if you're right-handed, right to left. One of the challenges is if your listener is not listening critically on a set of headphones or earbuds. Maybe they're in a car, maybe they're in a room with a small music player. They're not always going to hear your pristine stereo image. And if they don't, and it tends to blend into mono, a lot of times you can get phase cancellation and other nasty types of sounds. So I've been playing around with this quite a bit for, I don't know, the last few months, and I thought I'd make a video here just to show you some of my findings. So what I have here is a track of ambient guitar swells. You heard that on the intro to the video here. Let me play this again. Okay, it's a pretty simple track. It's my Telecaster Blacktop Baritone guitar through my 11 rack with also the Strymon Timeline, which is giving me all the delay and echo effects. I really love the Strymon Timeline, so if you haven't played it yet, I'd encourage you to check it out. Anyhow, so I recorded this track, really like the sound of it, but when I play it back in mono, it does not sound as good as it maybe could. Let me show you what I mean. In Logic, there's an effect called a direction mixer that allows you to switch stereo to mono. If you're in a different piece of software, there may be a button on the master bus or in your track, your channels that allow you to do that. Let me go ahead and flip this into mono, and I think you'll hear what I mean. Okay, here comes mono. All right. Sure sounds a lot better in stereo, doesn't it? When it's in mono, it's got kind of a canned sound to it. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well, is that really a problem? But if you check out some classic mixes, you'll see that they collapse their stereo image to mono very well. And let me again show you what I mean with a Neil Young track. Okay, yeah, I'm old school. This is a great song, Don't Let It Bring You Down, but more than the song itself, it's recorded really well. Listen to what happens when I play it back here briefly, hopefully not enough to violate copyright law, and I collapse it to mono. Check this out. Mono now. Now stereo. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mute this so it's out of the way. As you can hear, and I would encourage you to try it with either this track or another older track, it really collapses to mono very well. There's very little phase cancellation. The balance stays pretty consistent. It's pretty nice. So that was my challenge. How can I improve things? I'm not going to get it like the Neil Young song. I've recorded with the Strymon Timeline. There's already a lot of stuff going on in the stereo image. I can't really change that. But there's a few things that I can do. So if you listen, go ahead and listen to this again. Right about here maybe. Actually, let me pull it back. Let me unmute it. So what you probably hear there is a bass tone, and that is actually a loop that's going on underneath the volume swell guitar. It's all on one track. After I recorded it, I thought, I shouldn't have done that. I should have put the loop on a separate track. So the first thing I did was take the audio, copy it to another track, and like I demonstrated in another video, I use some EQ to lop out all the highs, so I'm just left with the bass. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And then what I did in the main volume guitar swell track is I added a plugin called Izotope Ozone 5, which is normally a mastering plugin, but it does have a nice stereo imaging section. And there are other plugins that will do this too, so Ozone's not your only choice, but it does allow you to split your signal into different frequency bands and adjust the stereo or mono image of the tone. So what I did with the guitar was to split it, let me go ahead and turn Ozone on, into 4 different bands and adjust the stereo width of each band. So you can see here in the bass, I've pretty much made it a mono signal. Let's go ahead and listen to that. Let's go ahead and solo it so we can hear it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and solo just the bass tones. And you can see by the vector scope here, they are in mono. Now let's look at the mids. I've increased that a little bit. It's pretty, there's still some width to it, but I have limited it. And then in the upper 2 ranges, which are hard for me to hear, once you get past about, I don't know, 6-7K, you're pretty much out of signal. But I've went ahead and made them actually kept it at 0%, which is the normal stereo width, and the very high frequencies I've gone ahead and expanded out to an even wider sound. So again, if we listen to that all together, let me go ahead and switch between stereo and mono, and hopefully you'll see that you'll hear that it sounds a little bit better than the original signal. So you can hear that just with making the lows a more mono signal, it really makes the whole guitar sound a lot more cohesive. It still has stereo width, but it doesn't have the phase cancellation and the craziness in the low end in terms of the stereo image. So let's go ahead and put that together with the bass track, the bass, what I'm calling bass drone. Sorry about that. I need to learn how to use the controls of my software, so I apologize. Let's try it again. So not bad, but if I take the bass track here, the bass drone, and put the direction mixer on it and force it to mono, you can hear how that really kind of cleans up the low end. And now when I take the whole mix and collapse it to mono, listen to this. I don't know what you think, but I think it sounds a lot more cohesive than the original signal. Now, if we add some drums into that, I do have a kind of a scratch drum track here. Let's listen to what that sounds like with the overall mix. I'm going to go ahead and put my Kramer tape delay on, or tape saturation, just to raise the amplitude a little bit, so hopefully you can hear it. That's not bad, is it? It's fairly cohesive. It kind of works with the drums. Now I'm going to go ahead and play this a little bit more, and let's go ahead and listen to how the overall signal collapses to mono. Stereo now. Now mono. All right. So you can see with a couple plugins and really kind of controlling the stereo imaging of different frequency bands, you can take an unruly ambient guitar recording and kind of bring it under control and really get the stereo imaging to the point where you can really put it into the mix, have it sound cohesive, but not take over the mix. And if your listener is not listening on an ideal system and they tend to get mono signals from the stereo left and right combining, they're still going to hear a pretty good sound that came out of your mix. Anyhow, that's it. Hopefully you found this helpful. Keep your ears and your eyes open for a future video that features this song once I get it finished. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe to it now. I do try to put out a video once a week or so with some of my music and also some hopefully helpful hints and tips on recording ambient guitar. Anyhow, thanks a lot for listening and watching, and I'll see you on the next video.